Welcome, everyone. This is Glenda Dawson, and I have the cute little moon girl with me.
Ooh,
You're watching the Paranormal Dolls. Thank you for following us. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting us. And today we have a great guest, correct, moon girl?
of course. He's amazing.
Welcome, Chris. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. Why don't you tell us about yourself so then the audience can get to know you if they don't already.
My name is Chris Buffamante. I am a professional film actor. I wrote a book. I'm a musician. I'm a professional dancer, and just a long list of other talents that I have. I'm that.
Perfect. So, um,
Typical Pythian man, yes.
Yeah, people sometimes would call me like a Renaissance man or something,
Yes.
whatever that means.
oh boy, that's funny. So, what have you been up to?
Well, lately I have like a lot of projects going on at once. Um, One of them being a film actor. It's a very, it's kind of a busy life. If you know what you're doing, if you got a lot to offer, people will see that, and if you keep going at it, people are gonna recognize that. And if you network and you get your foot in the door enough, and you keep applying, you'll start getting parts, and it seems like that's been working for me. And I've been getting a lot of parts lately and really becoming a natural at it, I guess you'd say.
Good, congratulations. So tell us about some of the stuff that you have done already.
All right. So I've been in quite a few different things. I've been in I've been a vampire in a movie for Bagora Films.
Okay.
I've been uh, a lead camp counselor for a movie that's still in the works, Friday the 13th film,
Mhm.
also by Bergoa Films, a Crow fan film. I've been in, I've been the lead role as a husband for some YouTube thing. You get stuff here and there. Some I've been an extra in quite a few different things, supporting roles here and there. It's really interesting. It's really fun. I also have done some action acting, so it's almost like
Mhm.
some stuntman work for a couple different films. Because I do a lot of parkour and a lot of stuff like that,
Okay.
so I kind of have that build and that thing going for me as well.
Good, good. Now you were saying that dancer. Have you been? Have you ever gotten a dancing?
Okay, so I've actually been in quite a few dance performances
Okay.
here in the Houston area. There's community dance projects that people can get involved in if you
Hmm.
just really get involved in community dance groups and just keep attending. And if you're good enough, of course, you'll get recognized.
Hmm.
And it kind of started. People would come up to me at these groups and these meetups, and they would ask, "Are you a professional dancer?" And over and over, I'd have to tell them no. But eventually, an offer popped up, and I was like, you know what? This is my calling, and I just went for
I
it.
am a dancer. No.
I am a professional dancer, I am a dancer, and I went for it, and I did really good. And that was, I guess, like 3 or 4 years ago, maybe. And since then, I've been on at least 6 or 7 different professional dance performances where you're dancing in front of like a large crowd of people, sometimes at events, sometimes at like theaters.
Hmm.
There's different ways to be a professional dancer. It's mainly modern and contemporary dance is what I do.
Hmm.
Um, I've worked with different choreographers such as Adam Castaneda, I believe his name is pronounced. He's a local Houston dance choreographer. as well as there's this one guy who's actually danced on Broadway for a long time. He's worked with Disney for a while. His name's Evan Johnson. He's a really well known in New York, I suppose, and different areas, I suppose, of the dance community. He's really great. Um, yeah, he's probably the top choreographer I've worked with, and that was at a haunted house. That choreography, yeah, that choreography was intense because the
Mm.
music he chose, everything about it, the costume design, the makeup, everything we were doing was just such a different level. So Evan Johnson, he was really great. I played the lead role in one of those particular. It was like almost like a play or like a short. It was I wouldn't say it's necessarily a just dance because there's other stuff involved, like a lot of props. It was more performing arts, and I actually did aerial hoop in that performance.
Oh,
So
that sounds fun.
yeah, it is. I'm a professional aerial hoop performer as well. So it's really
Love
fun.
it.
It's definitely dangerous. I highly recommend people, if they want to try it out, take classes. Um, take precaution. You can easily break your neck if you don't do it right. Spinning upside down, swinging from a metal hoop, it's really dangerous.
Mm.
Um, yeah. If you
Yeah,
want to
for
get,
those of us that are down here, we see it and we're like, yeah,
yeah, it
no.
looks, I'm sure it looks scary because it is scary. But
Yeah.
the thing is, like, my whole life, I've
Mhm.
had, it's like this internal mission to conquer all my fears. Like,
Good.
I want to conquer all my fears. So I spend my life doing the things I'm afraid to do. Uh, Skating is great for that. Parkour, just climbing and just being very dangerous all around. Of course, with certain precautions, but learning to be brave, learning to have faith in times of fear. You know,
Hmm.
it's
Yeah,
being brave, and you can't live in fear. That's my way of life. I mean, you can live the way you want, but I don't want to live in fear. So
me
I do the
neither.
things I'm afraid to do. I take leaps of faith. You know, I
Mhm.
get involved. I do what I got to do to get to where I want to be.
Yeah.
Very true.
Now, you also dabble in the metaphysical and the paranormal. So
Yes.
you want to tell us a little bit about that stuff?
Uh, yeah, sure. Um, so I would say all throughout my life, I've experienced a lot of magical things. I'm not just saying like, oh, what a coincidence. I'm saying like, whoa, did I just levitate? Kind of thing. It's like, how do I explain that? How do I believe what I just did? You know,
How
and
to convince others. That
huh?
might be it. And how to convince others.
I think that's like the what makes people really dive in actually. Um, Not being able to explain what just
Yeah.
happened and not being able to convince people that it really happened, it kind of makes people want to when you do go through something spiritual, it makes you want to look into it. It makes you want to really educate yourself on how to understand the reality of it and like how real it is and the vocabulary of it. Just being able to explain what happened in a confident and knowledgeable way, uh, it really it makes you more confident. First of all, it helps you believe that it did happen,
Mhm.
but it also it's strange. It's like the validation is sometimes that just blocking us from just being ourselves. But
Yes, very
um,
true.
if you're a magical person, you understand. uh,
Yes, very true. Very
there
true.
was this time, I would say like 5 or 6 or 7 years ago, I went through what a lot of people call a spiritual awakening,
Hmm.
where basically I started experiencing a lot of different epiphanies and a lot of spiritual activity and a lot of kind of just a wake up call. So there's that term spiritual awakening. I feel like a lot of people use it, and a lot of people have different definitions of it. Um, I've heard people say that their spiritual awakening, when they had a dream or something along the lines of a dream or a vision, where they saw a ball of light exploding, and they woke up and they just felt like an epiphany or something. I've heard that a lot. Um, I've also heard people just saying they went through a realization that um, their life is not what they wanted it to be, or some near death experience or something like that. And sometimes it's just all the above, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's oftentimes I think it's all the above. Um, but with that being said, I personally think the on a grander scale, what a spiritual awakening is when people stop denying uh, who they truly are, what they truly are. They stop denying that those magical things happened. They stop working against themselves, and they start working more in flow with who they truly are, instead of letting gaslighting or um, whatever it is you were taught when you're younger that's real and not real. Instead of letting that into your mind and in your heart, just create your own belief system, create your own life, follow your own heart, and do what you think is true. You know, do what makes you happy. Do what makes you you, and stop believing. Even if you trust those people, just for a moment, just do what's good for you. Do what you know will be your happiest life. And that's kind of what I ended up doing. Other than, of course, a long other list of things that made me go through this spiritual process, which I'll talk about. Um, but yeah, I started doing things that made me happy. I started developing my own belief system instead of listening to the supposed tos in life. You know, you're supposed to be like this when you're this age. You're supposed to be like this because of your gender. You're supposed to dress like this. You're supposed to do this because of this, this, and this. Get away from that. Do you. What is your calling? What is your dream? What do you think about?
Mm-hmm.
Um, when we're younger, we have these dreams that we want to be this, we want to be that. And oftentimes people will tell you that's impossible, or that's never going to happen, or yeah, right, or that's not real or realistic. And a lot of people believe that. A lot of people believe those gaslights. And what I ended up doing, and a lot of people I know ended up doing now, um, we basically, what we need to do is take a step back from the supposed tos, because they're talking about their opinions and based on their own life experience, and they have different dreams, and they're only going to tell you what they think is possible from their point of view. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so if you have a dream of maybe being a rock star or a novelist or a film actor, some sort of movie star, don't think it's impossible. Don't just say, "Oh, it's impossible because I'm ugly or I'm a guy or a girl or whatever." Uh, you got to believe in the impossible if you want to achieve the impossible. You know, you got to believe that anything is possible if you want to achieve that impossible thing. You got to be a little bit crazy, you know. So you're gonna have these dreams as a kid, these childhood dreams, and that inner child's going to have these dreams, and you got to somehow reach back to those dreams and just start pursuing them. You're an adult now. um, Whoever's watching, you're probably an adult, I hope. And if you had these childhood dreams that people told you that was totally impossible or not realistic, well, guess what? It's totally possible. It's totally realistic. Just pursue them. Follow your dreams. That's what they're there for. They weren't just there for like entertainment. That's not what your dreams are there for. They're not entertainment. They're there for you to chase. They're
Mm-hmm.
there because that's literally your purpose. Your God given purpose is to chase that dream. It's not random. There's no such thing as a random dream. Um, yeah. Sorry, I went off on a tangent there.
No, that's okay. You
Now
know,
you mentioned. Oh, go ahead, Glenda.
it's that uh, programming that they all put you in the little box,
Yeah,
and you need, in order to really be successful and evolve, and especially right now, so you got to bring those walls down and just do your own thing, basically,
yeah. Anything is possible.
right?
Straight up, you can make money doing literally anything.
Hmm.
Literally anything. You just got to keep doing it, get good at it, and you'll start making money doing it.
Hmm.
A lot of people resort to corporate jobs. They go straight into college after high school, thinking that's what they're supposed to do. That's the norm, and that their dream is just unrealistic because I don't know, but it's possible. Pursue it. It's possible. You know, anything is possible. If you want to make money playing video games, you can do that now. It's a
Hmm.
thing. A lot of people do it. If you want to make money decorating Christmas trees, that's a job. I don't know what it's called, but it's a job, and people will pay you to do it if you're good. So practice, pick up
Now
a
you said.
job.
Oh, sorry. Go.
No, you're good.
Now you said you've had paranormal experiences. Do you want to maybe
Oh,
tell
yeah.
us a little bit about those?
Okay, so around my spiritual awakening time, I started having interesting dreams. And so I started keeping a dream journal. And basically, I didn't really understand anything about the spirit. I actually didn't even believe in God at that time. Um, I just I just was writing and keeping a journal. So I was keeping a dream journal, and one day I was sitting at this desk actually, in a different place, of course, and I remember seeing the journal just right in front of me, and it blew open or something, and I just remember seeing this like line in the journal, and it just looked kind of poetic, and I did a double take. I'm like, wait a minute, let me see that. And I look at it because dreams are very chaotic sometimes,
Hmm.
it just doesn't make sense. There's no logic. It's just, you just write down like, okay, a rose and then fell and then I fell and then I forgot or something. I don't know. Dreams can be confusing and
Right.
very hard to remember. But if you just write down a little bit, anyways. So I got this journal going. I look at it. I'm like, wow, that looks like poetry. It almost looks symbolic, like what I just wrote. And I'm like, wait a minute, what if I read it as if it was a poem instead of just crazy, chaotic, an experience in my mind or something?
Right.
And so I started reading it like it was, and I started thinking about it as if it was. And I was like, what if I could read it as a poem and then interpret it like a poem symbolically, metaphorically, and get a message out of it? And sure enough, that's that I started a new journal, right? And I called it the dream analysis log. And I
Okay.
started like being like a little detective or something, trying to figure out what this is, thinking I'm coming up with something new. And sure enough, I was getting messages. I was getting messages from my dreams. And I was like, what the? And I started looking back, and sure enough, more messages, and they applied to my life. And the more I did this, the more I made sense of my dreams. And the more you write down your dreams, the moment you wake up, even if it's like you wake up and you completely forgot, but you do have a sense of feeling like, okay, I felt like I met a person and I was sad. Write that down. That's something. Start there. And then
Hmm.
the next time next time you have a dream and you wake up, for some reason, since you did that, your dream recall is what it's called. Your dream recall will last a little bit longer. So you'll be able to remember or recall exactly what happened, just a little bit of what happened, not exactly, um, in your dream world. And then you can write down a little more and you'll get better at it. And eventually, your dream recall will get so good to the point where your recollection of what just happened will be so vivid and so descriptive to the point where it's literally no different than having a real memory in this world. So your memories will literally become uh, from the dream world, and they'll be just as vivid, they'll stick just as well. I still have memories of a lot of dreams that I've had. I could just recall it the same way I recall meeting you, Moon Girl. I it's like a dream, you know. It's like I now can recall things just as well. And anyways, so as I'm making more sense of these dreams, poetically, you know, in a real sense, and
Mhm.
as I'm being able to recall the dreams better, what ends up happening is I become extremely lucid while I'm in the dreams, because it's becoming um, more sensible. It starts to make more sense. The dream itself, when I'm in it, becomes more understandable because of the dream interpretation. It becomes more logical. It starts to make more sense to me. The use of my mind and my memories and being able to think logically and recall things, it starts to kind of the lines start to blur
Right.
between the dream worlds and the waking worlds. And as a result, I become extremely lucid in these dreams. And if you look into maybe the Bible or any book on fairies, the occult, mysticism, shamanism, you'll learn that the dream world is a place to find and talk to. Basically, it's like the spirit world.
Mhm.
It's basically like the spirit world. You can meet angels, you can meet dragons, you can talk to loved ones who have passed away. You can open portals. You can
Mhm.
do anything. You can fly, shapeshift. Um, Literally into jump into paintings. There's a lot. There's a very uh, hard to distinguish line between the astral plane and the lucid dream world. It's essentially the same thing. Uh, with that being said, this world, the waking physical world, is no different. That's the crazy part. It's technically no different, because you're gonna feel the same feelings you feel in the dream world when you become lucid enough. This is just the world we're lucid in right now.
Mhm.
Anyways, so I went on this journey where I'm essentially becoming a multi-dimensional traveler, because of that, and it's a lot like Harry Potter. So Harry Potter, he goes from the Muggle world to the Wizarding world, and the transition is it's different in different ways. He gets there in different ways, but he remembers things from the Muggle world as if it's just a normal memory, like it's a part of his life. And then he gets to the Muggle world and he remembers the Wizarding world as if it's just a part of his life.
Mhm.
And that's kind of how it was for me. It's a lot like that, except there was no flying car. There was, and it was more like go to bed, wake up somewhere else, you know, in the middle of like a plot. Usually, it's like consciousness can transfer.
Right.
With that being said, when things like that are happening with you, it helps to read books, um, and watch videos on how it works and what exactly is it called, and who else is going through it, and how are they dealing with it, what have they tried, and what's dangerous out there, because there are demons out there, there are harmful spiritual entities out there,
Mhm.
and you can't see them, but they're there. Same thing with angels. Same thing with very neutral beings. Some are benevolent.
Mhm.
Some are trying to get you. Some are trying to help you. You know, some are trying to drag you to their realm of a living hell, and
Mhm.
some are trying to guide you to your own personal heaven because they're trying to help you.
Right.
And you got to be really careful with who you work with. Be very careful with what you say because your words are magic.
Mhm.
You are creating your reality. Everything you say is definitely being. It's like a script. You're creating your own script when you say things. When you describe a person, you are essentially reinforcing and altering your own perception on that person. So when you meet somebody, and you say they were mean or they were evil, and the reality is you're just in a bad mood, but you're saying that, and you say that enough, eventually when you meet them, they will be mean, they will be evil, and you will definitely perceive it that way, and you will believe it more than ever. And the reason that is because you created them, your perception on them that way. You redefined them. You can redefine anything and anyone, especially yourself. So the way you talk about yourself is extremely important. The things you say to yourself is extremely important, and it will affect your entire life. Don't have negative self-talk. Don't talk down on yourself. Um, Believe in the impossible. Like I said, talk highly of yourself. Um, be careful what you say. Be careful what you think. There's different forms of magic.
Mhm.
Uh, Having to do with thought and words and incantations, emotions. Eventually, you'll learn how to control your emotions, like emotional maturity. But you can take that to a new level and start uh, getting into energy work, and extending your energy outside your hand, and
Mhm.
and combining that with words and emotions that you just invoked into your mind through a memory. Anyways,
And going into your matrix and fixing whatever lines are not properly fixed and all
right,
that other stuff. Yes, I,
right.
I've been blessed to be able to do that. But it's true what you say. I mean, Mungo and I both have known that words are a thing and they can be very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
You could either make something and raise its vibration, or you could bring it down and you know decrease yourself with it because
Mm-hmm.
that's what people don't understand. So now, have you been able to experience
Ghosts.
ghosts in
Yeah.
the conscious world?
The conscious world, yes.
Yes.
So the more you start to increase your senses of and awareness of the beyond world, the more you'll start to develop uh, clairvoyance and clairaudience, and the beyond senses or the clair senses is, you know, that psychics and mediums oftentimes will be using. Um, Eventually, you'll start to learn telepathy, how to decipher the voice in your head, basically, and learning how to connect with other people's emotions as an empath, and then learning how to turn those feelings into words and pictures. Um, and then you can literally reverse it, and that's when it becomes more of a warfare. But um, what I'm saying is, yeah, I've definitely seen quite a few ghosts. I've definitely seen some different things like milky apparitions in my room.
Mhm.
Um, there was a time during my spiritual awakening area when I first started changing my life. I had Christmas lights, with kind of like now, um, strung all around the corners of my room,
Mhm.
and I liked it. I just liked the idea of it. But as a result, I ended up realizing that it was extremely practical for everything that I was doing, because I noticed it was like a doorbell. It was like a indication when someone walks through a door at a business. There's like a little bell that it's like ding ding, someone's coming through. So as a result, whenever I was doing all these studies and
Mhm.
meditating and doing all the energy work, raising my vibrations, doing all the dream work, and working with angels and gods and goddesses and God and my higher self and all that stuff. When you start really researching, constantly filling your mind with this stuff and learning about it, um, it increases the likelihood of you witnessing all this stuff, and you're going to increase your beyond senses. And when you actually do the spiritual exercises in the book, whatever book you're reading that's for psychic abilities or whatever, when you actually do the exercises and daily, meditate guided meditations and lucid dreaming and all the work, what you're essentially doing is you're leveling yourself up to be like a supernatural being. And when you get to that point where you're a supernatural being with essentially superpowers, you start witnessing ghosts and apparitions. You start being able to see things clear as day. You'll start being able to use your abilities in a more practical sense, um, and that and whatnot. So, yeah, I would start seeing things, and there would be like a. And there was times there was like a milky apparition of like a ghostly figure that would just like cross my room, and I would just like hear like this, like almost like an air conditioning like of wind, and you suddenly everything just your spine gets like you feel the electromagnetic field. You
Right.
every all your hairs will stand up, and you'll just be like, whew, you'll just immediately focus on it and just watch it cross the room, you know. But if you're, I highly recommend to anyone who practices it, put up some Christmas lights, string it all the way around the room, so you'll whenever you see a flicker, there's a good chance something is entering from that spot, and you'll
Mhm.
see like an isolated flicker from just brand new Christmas lights. That's not normal.
Hmm.
um, and it's just a good indication to look in that direction, because they have this electromagnetic field that can literally create a disturbance in small lights like Christmas lights. So
Well, I have those small Christmas lights in my bigger room where we do the mediumship development classes for that reason.
wow, I just naturally accidentally did it, like created this whole thing. I was
You
like,
just knew. You just knew.
it was just, I like the Christmas lights. I was like, oh, it looked
Mhm.
pretty. It's an art project. Sure enough, it kind of just went perfectly with what I was doing
Yeah.
in life. I was like, how convenient, you know?
Synchronicity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Now,
want to
have
talk about
you
demons, but I'll talk about that.
go for
Go for it.
it?
No, I'm not going to talk about the demons. Okay, I'll tell you about a vaguely talk to you about some of that, but don't do magic that's not good. If you're gonna do magic, don't don't just randomly do a spell for some selfish reasons. You
Mhm.
gotta have a little more of an outline to it. I've made that mistake before,
Yeah.
uh, and it almost cost me my life. So there are, if you do a spell to make yourself more attractive, right? If you want to do a spell that makes yourself more attractive,
Mhm.
and maybe you do some candle magic combined with such and such, and if you don't like specify on what being or entity that you want to work with for that spell during the spell,
Mhm.
then what will happen is suddenly you'll get a hell demon that's basically a succubus that literally will enter your dreams, violate you in a very inappropriate way, and
Mhm.
yeah, and
And
then
there are male and female, by the way.
Yes.
the
They're not.
Succubus and incubus.
yeah,
Yes.
so they will, that's a thing, they will carry to you through into this world, and they will drain you. They will drain your energy. Your car will have no gas. Your bank account will suddenly have no money in it. You will feel a constant being like you're being violated, just nonstop. Like you're being constantly violated. You'll wake up feeling violated. You'll walk around feeling violated. It is extremely disturbing,
Mhm.
and they will completely ruin your life.
Yep.
Um, that being said, it's not just a spell of attraction, any spell at all. Make sure you work with someone specific. Do not just leave it as
Because
uh,
anybody
for
will come in. It's an open invitation for
an open
anyone.
invitation for anybody. You
Right.
have to be specific with who you're working with. Otherwise, you're not going to get the goddess Aphrodite to help you. If you don't say Aphrodite, you're going to get a demon who's like, okay, this guy just wants to be attractive. First come, first serve. I'm in. It's like, oh, I beat Aphrodite there. I'm going to drag this guy to hell. And, it's literally how it is. You got to be specific with who you're working with when you do magic.
Right.
Period. And I'm not going to go into the story behind it because I don't want to manifest anything
Yeah,
bad.
that's okay.
I'm not trying to do that again. It was a living nightmare, literally. So
Your experience and touching about it is enough there.
yeah,
So,
I think that's covering enough of it. Let's
right.
just say, and if anyone does get into that position where they accidentally invoke succubus or incubus,
Hmm.
from hell, because there's a difference between a demon on the plains of earth versus a hell demon.
Hmm.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Hmm.
Hell demons are so much worse. They will literally, there's no way to work with them. It's there is, but anyways, if you ever get in this position where you are, when you have a succubus or an on this plane who is actually secretly a succubus or secretly an incubus, I highly recommend the best thing you can do is get closer to God, get closer to the light, uh, be the un be like a virus doesn't when it doesn't want its host. Like you got to be like the intolerable host. Like
Hmm.
give it nothing. Give it nothing. Do not give it what it wants. Um, Essentially, you would have to practice chastity and abstinence and stuff, and constantly get close to God. Demons hate that. Demons hate when you don't give them what they want. First of all, demons hate positivity.
Hmm.
Demons hate angels. Demons hate God. They hate the light. Just be the thing that's so repulsive to them that they have to head for the hills. They have to get out of there. Um, the light fights the darkness, and the darkness fights the light. So remember that. Like in Pokemon, the grass type Pokemon, the weakness is the fire. We'll just burn it and instantly kill it, right? Water to fire, right?
Hmm.
Use the light in the dark. Be smart about it. If you have too much darkness in your life, bring on some more light. Go to church, read the Bible, right? Re- I don't know. Do what you got to do. Um, Work with light beings, right?
Hmm.
Uh, if you have too much light in your life, which is totally possible, um, it can be toxic. Uh, an imbalance is just toxic. It doesn't matter which imbalance it is. If there's an imbalance, you're going to have some toxicity. You got to have balance, period. So if you want to study the occults, if you want to study something a little dark, you need to fill yourself up with a bunch of light. And if you want to take on some darkness, otherwise the darkness will consume you and you'll go down. There's got to be a balance.
Hmm.
Now, have you always been interested in the metaphysical and the occult and paranormal since you were a child, or was this after your spiritual awakening?
What's spiritual awakening? Just kidding. Yes, I've always been interested. Always. Everything from just hearing stories and like books to watching movies, uh, everything. Whether if it's watching superhero movies or cartoons, even like it's always been an interest to me. Always.
Very, very good. So, basically, when you look for answers, you look at Google or you search for a master or a mentor.
Um, so there's so many different ways to get answers.
Hmm.
Whether if it's interpreting your dreams
Hmm.
or uh, searching for a mentor, whether if it's on the spiritual plane of just the unseen world or someone who looks like they got that, mastered. Whatever you're trying to do, if you want to say uh, an acting master, you go to an acting coach, right?
Hmm.
I mean, technically, you can go to like a god of deception, but that would be that would be super
That's frowned
literally
upon. No.
right. That's like not the best idea. It's not very straightforward. You would have to communicate with them in their language. So, um, I wouldn't recommend that. You can easily read a book. So if you just Google like a book, like on whatever you're trying to learn,
Mhm.
or honestly, if you really want something or if you really want to know about something, uh, it will come to you. Like you can just go on social media, and sure enough, an ad for it will be there, or someone will message you somehow or call you out of nowhere, and it's manifesting. If you really, really want something, and you just allow the universe to bring it to you, or have some sort of a platform for them to bring it for you to you, it will happen. And
Yeah.
so the answers come in all different directions, depending on what you're looking for or what you're trying to learn. The answers will come. If you have a question, you're going to get an answer. If you have an answer, that's another thing. You're going to get a question. If you have all the tools and all the keys, and you fill your mind with all these answers, suddenly you're going to have all these tests. Like when a teacher at school, when they want to teach you something, they don't just give you the test. They don't just give you the answers. First, they give you the answers, and then what follows the answers? The test. The test follows the answers. Always. The quiz, the pop quiz, everything. And that's exactly how life is. Life is itself is a school. And you're just if you learn anything in life, you're gonna get tested on it. You're gonna be able to apply it. And that's the real test. Yeah.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about your upcoming projects you have coming up for you, like your acting roles and stuff,
Right.
or anything really?
Also wrote a book.
Yes.
Okay, so I wrote a novel not long after I started experiencing a lot of this lucid dreaming and all that stuff. So I realized it would make a really great story. So I was like, you know what? I could help a lot of people if I just made this into a book. But I realized like maybe I don't want to make it into a nonfiction like book about me. I want to make it to a fictional novel. And the reason I wanted to do that is because there's so much room to be creative and do whatever you want when it's a fictional novel. So I basically took a lot of my life experience of the dream interpretation and going through the awakening process and having to leave a bunch of toxic people and basically reclaim your life. uh,
Yeah.
I took that experience and I turned it into a fictional book, a very realistic fictional book. Um, Basically, like, so it's considered realistic fiction. The character goes through something very similar. It's all the doubts, all the discovery, everything from walking away to forgiving. It's all in the book. It's got a lot. It's got romance. It's got magic. It's got mystery. It's not predictable. It's got mental health struggles. It's got doubts, and it's got faith. It's got redemption. It's got everything. It's got heartbreak. It's got everything in the book. And so the book should be out next year,
Okay.
early
What's the
next.
name of it?
It's called The Lightworker's Journey and Speaking of Dreams.
Okay.
Yep.
Looking forward to it.
I will
Yeah.
be on tour next year. It'll be great.
Yes. Well, you have to come back when you have that out to promote it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, I also do music. I have multiple albums out.
Hmm.
I'm a one man band pretty much. So I do all the instruments and all the mixing, all the producing. It's on Spotify, iTunes, everything. Literally all the streaming platforms. Not SoundCloud. I don't think it's on SoundCloud.
What kind of
It's,
music is it?
it's like alternative pop rock. So
Okay.
it sounds a lot like Blink 182.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've heard it. People constantly tell me it's like, oh, you sound like Blink 182, but more alternative, or like a lot like Jimmy Eat World. So it's really cool how I basically sound like some of my favorite bands, and it's just a really good feeling. So just like
Hmm.
dreams come true. Don't ever think they don't. Dreams definitely come true. Try not to live a nightmare, because you are creating this dream. Technically, you're lucid dreaming right now,
Right.
and this is your dream. So everything you say is going to come true. Everything you constantly think about will come true. Everything you work towards will come true. Whatever you invest your energy in will, is what you're feeding, and that's what's going to grow into your life. That will dominate your life. So just feed the right dream, feed the right thoughts. Um, yeah. So the book is called The Light Worker's Journey. And speaking of dreams, it'll be out next year. Right now, it's 2013 or 2023.
Yes.
Time traveler. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
The music is my artist name is Finding Polaris.
Fine.
So like finding Polaris, like the North Star.
Mm-hmm.
So check it out. It would be really cool if you could support me on that. I
Of
perform
course.
live sometimes when I have time here in the city. Some upcoming films I will be in. Uh, there's a film called Bear in the Underworld by Lion and Tiger Productions. They have been really great to me. They have a lot to offer. Uh, I'm looking forward to acting as the supporting character. His name's Otto. Otto is a best friend to John Bear.
Okay.
I'm definitely looking forward to that. I will be in the Valley for that film, so I will
I
see you guys.
may just run into you, sir. I actually talked to Albert yesterday, so I may just run into you guys.
You better. You better. If you think about it, you probably will.
I'm pretty sure I will.
I'm pretty sure you will. There's some other movies I'm gonna be in. There's a movie called The Big Tipper. That's here in Houston. It's kind of a short film. We're still looking for a location on where to film that at, just the right location.
Mm-hmm.
Bring him to the valley.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that.
That's kind of a far. Yeah, that's kind of far.
Yeah, his name's I think Robert Tartell or something like that. I have to double check, but he's a great guy. I'm doing a couple different photo shoots, upcoming photo shoots. One of them I cannot talk about,
Okay.
but
It's secrets.
yeah, it's confidential. You got to keep it confidential. Another one I can talk about. It's very soon. It's for like a running catalog or something. Uh, so I'll be like a runner for some clothing catalog or something. Which
Nice.
is really great. It's because I am a runner, so I do like to run and exercise. So I fit that role pretty well. Um, yeah, I, I believe there's a couple other things. Maybe I think I didn't write it down, but I think there's a TV show coming up that I definitely got my foot in the door on.
Yeah.
Just a few little things here and there that I'm looking forward to. And It's probably gonna blow up. They're probably not as little as I think they are. But yeah.
Okay.
So,
Congratulations.
can you tell us a little bit about the what's it called again? I'm sorry, the Bear movie or John Bear or what's it called?
Yes, Bear in the Underworld.
Yes, yes. I'm
It's,
sorry.
it's okay. I can't tell you too much about it, but from what I've already read, the script is phenomenal. The script is it's really good. It's really good. It's got drama in it. It's pretty action packed, and the plot is it's really good. It's not like one of those generic plots. It's like something you don't see every day. You know, we've got a great cast so far that I know. So far in the movie. I don't think it's fully casted just yet, but I believe it will be. We'll be shooting the film early next year.
Yes, and this is the one in the valley, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, and we have an amazing writer, Albert. He's a really great writer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've worked with him before. Yeah, yeah. He's a good friend of mine. So you're in good hands with him.
I believe you.
Yes, he's always been a perfect gentleman. He's amazing. I love him. He's awesome.
Well, I'm looking forward to working with him. He sounds great. I'm sure since you're best friends with him or close friends with him, I will be seeing you there We'll definitely be talking more about spiritual stuff.
For
And
sure.
I can almost guarantee you I'll have some more stuff to tell you about when it comes to gig opportunities, because they just keep coming
Yeah.
at me. Like, I think I'm manifesting really well
Good.
Yes.
right now. If you just keep on, writing down what's coming, the good things, and talking about it, and working towards leveling yourself up, of course, then that new level will have a bunch of stuff for you. And it's
Sure.
happening,
Yeah, that's how exciting.
Sounds like you figure out the formula.
Yeah. Crack the code.
Crack the
Petty
code.
falls. No. I
Well, it's
won.
working for you. It's working for you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very good. So, is there anything else that you want to tell the audience that you haven't mentioned before?
Hmm. Um, I think I mentioned quite a bit. You can
I
look me
think
up on
it's good.
Instagram. My Instagram is Hi Call Me Chris.
Mm-hmm.
So HICALLMECHRIS.
Mm-hmm.
Just look for me at the bookstore. Look for me at concert venues, I guess, here in the near future. Look for me on the television. I will be there.
Very good. Very good. And congratulations again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, then
Thank you for
thank
being
you
here.
for being here with us. Thank you, Moon Girl. Thank you to our audience. And as always, many blessings and we love you. Bye, guys.
Bye.